the sermon was already taken care of. So today we have a little different service. Father Moon really often emphasized report. Actually, it was there often these long reports with Father. Right? They really wanted reports. Even prayers should be a report, in a sense. Your prayers should be a report. So in preparing this, Ida and I were thinking about that for the Sunday service. So this is a report. And it will last about 20-25 minutes. And then we can accept questions, because at times things are not covered or things you want to know. So they also will be part of the report. So, go right ahead.
We said it's going to be a report, and we have the pleasure of, where are you going? We were staff members at the calendar workshop called Treasures of Heaven. And I'm actually very happy that I'm able to give this report now, because I feel that not enough people know about the Treasures of Heaven workshop. So it's happy that I can spread the word a little bit. So that's why I just wanted to give a very small introduction before. Then we'll get into showing some pictures and then just personal reflections. But now it's a very small introduction about what Treasures of Heaven is. Treasures of Heaven is a very special workshop. It's a workshop for brothers and sisters. You can't hear me?
He has a strong voice.
Better?
You just feel like we wouldn't need it. We both are kind of.
Yes, now it's better. Actually,
maybe for recording you need the mic, right? So how many of you had heard of Treasures of Heaven? Are you already heard?
Good. Very good. Okay. Yeah. And it was actually just founded in 2011, and it's been held every 2 years ever since. It's been 11, 13, and 15. So this was the third Treasures of Heaven. And the heart and souls behind this project. What it was for? Oh, again. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's a special workshop because it's a workshop for brothers and sisters of the second generation who have special needs or are disabled. And it was founded by the heart and souls behind the project were Maria Palmer and Lisa Jansen. And they had the inspiration of make such a workshop because they both had children with special needs. So they wanted a place for their children to feel included and safe and just a happy environment for them. And yeah, I mentioned that not so many people know about the workshop. A lot of you did, which I'm happy to see. But I actually had not heard about the workshop just until a couple of months ago, when I was talking to my good friend from Italy, and he had been staff at these workshops, so he was telling me about it, and he was very inspired about it. He was telling me how much he had gained from it and how much he had, the opportunity to help out. And I was immediately very inspired and fascinated about the idea. But as some of you know, I was supposed to go to Champion this year to Korea. So I was like, oh, okay, that sounds inspiring. Maybe sometime in the future I would like to staff, but I didn't think it was going to work out for this summer. But then when Korea got cancelled because of the MERS virus, the first thing I did was I emailed Lisa Jansen, which was also the workshop director this year, and asked her if they still needed staff members. And we were both lucky enough to still get a spot in Treasures of Heaven, even though I emailed her just a couple of weeks before the workshop. So they welcomed us with open arms, which was very nice. So we were able to attend as staff members.
Yes, Ingrid and I first heard about this a few years ago. We met Lisa and Bert at a workshop in Germany. And she gave a lecture about what it meant to be a parent of a child with special needs. And then we sort of became aware of this. Then Lisa came here and Bert for Don Pappalardo's workshop. And I've been working for a year. I had been at the time working for a year with people with disabilities.
And so we had a lot to talk about, and then she mentioned about this summer workshop, which it wouldn't work for me at that time. I was busy, I thought I'd be very busy. But then many changes, and I was in between jobs, and I had to go to Italy, so we managed to be able to go there. When we called and contacted, they were happy to have us. Also because the more people there are, the more of a sort of spirit of a normal workshop it is. So it shouldn't be just a workshop for them, for people with special needs. But if there are more young people or more involved, and then it's like more of a spirit of a workshop, of a vacation together. And then it really worked out that way. So Ida and I got there early, a day early, which was so good. I was so impressed to see Camber. I hadn't been there for many years. And last time I was there, it was in bad shape, actually, the workshop place. Now, it's really a high standard facility that they use also to rent out for other people that have seminars, and a very high standard kitchen, bathrooms, and sleeping facilities. And a very good crew. There are 3 people that are sort of permanent staff that are very, very on top of things. And so hopefully really they'll be able to maintain it that way.
The reason we were able to have it at Camber is because this was the first year that Churches of Heaven was actually supported by ESGD, which is European Second Generation Department. So it's quite a big thing for Churches of Heaven. So we were able to have it at Camber and also have a representative from ESGD as a staff member at the workshop, who was Grace Barata. So that's why it was a very, too, and David Hanna as well. Yeah, so it was a very special year for Churches of Heaven. So that's what.
Yes, Grace Barata, that's why we dedicated the first 2 songs of Grace. We reflected on Grace. And she's a great girl that is investing a lot. So, being there early, it was very good to start to get to know people and welcome people in, and you helped with the whole practical things of assigning rooms, and that was good. I strongly suggest that if you have the chance to go to workshops, get in there early to sort of have the time also to go around the facility. There's a place, Holy Ground, where Father went to pray. Your parents have been there many times, so it's really a beautiful spirit there. And then basically we were the whole group together for meals and for morning service, for songs and for evening, also reflections and some activities. But basically there were 2 workshops. One was the parents of the children with special needs, with staff members and as adults, and another one was for the second generation. So this is some of us, and actually there was a sister from Austria, Bergi is her name. She's an art therapist, so she worked both with us and with the other group. And this was very interesting. Well, the fact itself that people had the chance to be relieved from their sort of constant really burden, because it's a 24-hour-a-day worry, but also concern, but also you have to be there present all the time when you have a child with special needs. Instead, just being with brothers and sisters, doing something they never do. They usually don't draw like this, or play with clay or music. That was already very nice, but also there's a whole therapeutic meaning behind it. This, for example, was the first project was we started with a bridge, drawing a bridge, and then the paper would go around the table, and then people would draw things around my bridge, and then I would get it back and then give it a title and reflect upon that and so on. And this was another project that was also very interesting with clay, also similar, very relaxed with music, and then working on the same block of clay and then dividing it and finding a way to connect it. There's also a deeper meaning to it. But we really enjoyed it, and then all the parents proudly displayed their work for everybody to see. So again, each child, second gen that was there, was accompanied by a parent, and that's the people I was with. And in this group, it was really an opportunity for these parents to share what they're going through. They don't usually have that in a very safe environment with other people that go through a similar course. So really feeling understood and feeling supported and cared for. And that created a beautiful atmosphere of really togetherness and belonging. There was David Anna also there. He gave 2 lectures, and also he led us into a creative poem writing that was also very, very interesting as an activity. And also the concepts, the words that came out. It's like really art is such a beautiful way to allow to get to a deeper place of our being and to express that. And although it was just a few days, there was a feeling of this safe environment, because especially adults feel very self-conscious, right? Drawing or writing a poem, or but it wasn't so. Because of that really sense of belonging. What I felt very strongly was also that because the people that went there to give, especially second gen, right? They went there to help, to give. Sometimes workshop, I go to workshop because I need to listen to principle, I need to, regenerate myself or regenerate my batteries. Instead, people that went there went to give. But by doing that, actually they obtained much more. By going with such an attitude of giving, then they received much more. So, let's see. Oh, that's right. There was a special session was when one of the Treasure of Heaven is the words, for lack of better words, like people with special needs, young people with special needs, but this is a wonderful young lady that came and shared with the parents group what it is like to be a person with special needs in society, what it means to grow up having people looking at you or not being able to do the things that your friends are doing. This was very insightful for me. It was an amazing person also that also came up with, she said something really that touched me, that was, in every miserable circumstance, there's always an aspect of humor. So if we can even just being able to keep that as a guideline, because when I struggle, when I'm depressed or when I struggle, it's very difficult to see the funny side of it. But if we can manage, it came like really as a boom, there were some sentences came as a revelation for me. For wow, how about that? If I can manage to do that, to just step out of it and look at things, or just that's a powerful lifesaver. All right, your turn.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, it was quite separate. It was one workshop as a whole, but the parents and kind of the adult staff had one schedule, and the second gen, but younger people had another. So we were together in the very beginning of the day. We did have morning service and so for the staff members and the parents, and then at the end of the day we closed as well. But for the rest, it was pretty much very, very separate. So there's something I want to mention, just kind of as a disclaimer before I actually get into showing the pictures and talking about more the second gen part, is that obviously we have to be very discreet, even though we will be sharing pictures and we have permission to do so, and a lot of them are, on ESGD or on Facebook as well. We will not say the participant's name or age or what they're diagnosed with or anything like that. This is more just to give an idea about the Treasure of Heaven workshop, because obviously we have to respect both their privacy and the privacy of the parents and the families as well. So we will not get into details at all like that. More just about our experience and hopefully just to, let you know what Treasure of Heaven is like and hopefully inspire some of you to perhaps, staff there or help out in some way. So that's just a small disclaimer before I get started. So yes, for the something that we haven't mentioned yet actually, it was around 40 people, all in all in the workshop. But since every participant did come with a parent and then there were a lot of staff members as well, there were actually just 8 brothers and sisters with special needs, which may seem like very little, but it was actually just right, because it meant that each and every one of them could really get, the care and everything they needed, because obviously they do have special requirements and special needs. So that meant that in the second gen part of the workshop, there were at least 2 staff members for each participant, which was actually very, very helpful for them, and it was nice for us as well to kind of develop a deeper relationship with one of the participants. Obviously, you always have to be very aware about the workshop as a whole, but we did have that. We called it a buddy system. Each one of us was assigned to, a specific participant, and it was always be extra aware of that person, so they, always doing well, they're eating, they're not running away, they're attending everything. So it was actually very nice. It was a very unconventional type of workshop for me, because obviously the schedule was completely different from any workshop I had ever been to, since, if you have people with special needs, you can't really have, homework early in the morning and lectures and very intense schedule. So all the activities we had in the schedule were more focused on just involving everyone and creating a nice atmosphere, a nice environment for them, because they can really perceive that in a way that maybe we can't as much. So we had, as he mentioned, we were fortunate enough to have an art therapist at the workshop. So we had a lot of art therapy, and I feel like each activity that we did within the art therapy, but even others, had a lot of thought put behind them. It was very, you had to include everyone, make it peaceful, harmonious, and kind of very, basically to make them feel comfortable and safe in that environment. And this activity, for example, we were painting, and it was, the theme was the Blue River. There's a very nice river by Cambay. I think there'll be a couple of pictures later. So what we did is, as the whole group, we went together to the river and picked up some water, and then with that water we painted, and the theme was blue. And this activity was very much focused on communicating as well. So each staff member, usually with their buddy or someone with a brother or sister with special needs, we shared a canvas or a piece of paper, and then we made a painting together. So that was really a way of communicating. Some of these brothers or sisters cannot really communicate conventionally, like with words or body language. So that was a way for them to kind of express themselves and connect with people, connect with the staff members, and really communicate in a different way. A lot of the times in a much deeper way as well. This was the river as well, and there were a lot of activities involving nature as well. We made sure that the participants always enjoyed the beautiful nature in Cambay, and always activities around that, and walks, and so, And each activity, as I said, was very much focused on, the group dynamics, making everyone feel included and everyone, just at home. And we had an art therapist, as I said, and we were also fortunate enough to have Harwe Peham, the sister in the middle there. She's from Austria, and she's studying to become a music therapist. So we had a lot of music sessions as well, because again, it's a way to really involve everyone, and everyone really enjoyed it, and everyone could play, a simple instrument and create something beautiful together. So we had a lot of those as well. Something else with music is, even when we weren't having the music therapy sessions, the music at the workshop was generally very, very good, because we had 2 amazing, actually professional musicians, which are Peter Graham and David Rennie. Some of you might recognize them from England. So they were amazing, so they were very entertaining, and everybody, loved listening to the music, and the participants loved it, and there was a lot of them actually really like dancing, and dancing is a really fun activity to do all together as well, where everyone can just, feel comfortable and express themselves. We did a lot of that as well, and this was a performance at the family evening, I think, So the participants really enjoyed it, and obviously the staff members enjoyed it at least just as much as the participants, and something that really was different for me than a conventional workshop is, since we were focusing so much on, creating a nice atmosphere and including each other and just creating an environment of trust, it made it very easy to relate to everyone, the staff members and the brothers and sisters with special needs as well, which was actually something I was excited about, but I was also quite nervous about going into the workshop. Because we had a lot of, art therapists and music therapists and social workers who were as staff members as well, or people at least with, experience within the field. But then there were a lot of us second-gen staff members that didn't really have any kind of experience at all, like dealing with, brothers and sisters with special needs that close up. So I didn't really know, like, I really didn't want to make them feel uncomfortable or make it worse or anything, so I was a bit, nervous in the beginning. But I feel that really being, like, once I met the participants, like, all the nervousness kind of just went away. And once you really felt, like, the amazing atmosphere, it was actually very, very easy just to relate to everyone, just as brothers and sisters. Not even as someone, someone with special needs who might have to be, careful around or not say the wrong thing or anything, just as brothers and sisters. And what was important though was really to have always, obviously, the right heart dealing with these kind of people, because they can really perceive it in a way that I feel a lot of us can't. So as long as you had, the right heart dealing with them, then it was very, very easy to relate and create relationships of trust, which I thought was very beautiful. Obviously a lot of them had, quite difficult, they were diagnosed with quite severe conditions. So at first, obviously, they react quite strongly to the environment. So obviously being in a new environment is completely new people everywhere. Like it was quite tough for some of them, like the first hours or even the first couple of days. But, wait, I'm running out of breath, sorry. So it was really nice that really if you were there for them and if you really support them with the right heart, even just not talking, but just being there with the right heart and being present, it was beautiful to see that throughout the workshop they really kind of let you into their bubble, which I thought was really nice. Like you really build a relationship of trust with the participants, with these brothers and sisters. And by the end of the workshop, it was actually very nice because it just felt like a family camp. Like it didn't even feel like, okay, we're the staff members, we're here to take care of these brothers and sisters, and it was just very harmonious and very beautiful, and you could really connect to everyone through their heart and really see everything from their perspective as well. Because I didn't really know so much about these kind of brothers and sisters before, so I really didn't know what to expect. But once, you develop this kind of relationship with them and you spend so much time with them, you kind of start to see things from their perspective, which I thought was really beautiful and made it so easy to connect because, our realities are quite different, but in the end, like we weren't that different, so it was very, very easy to connect. And something else that I really appreciated as well were the parents, because they were all so grateful that they could, bring their children, they weren't children, they're all young adults, to that kind of workshop. And so many of the parents came up to us, staff members, and said, oh, this is the only place that I can really, relax, because as Dad said, they're, constantly worried, and a lot of these young adults, they're at home because it's hard for them to have a normal job or go to school or so they were very grateful to have, 1 week, and they all said like, yeah, we feel like you're on vacation because, our kids are so happy and they're so well taken care of by the staff members, and the parents had a great support there as well, because there were other parents that were going through similar things, and so it was very rewarding for me to have the parents, come up to us and say such a heartfelt thank you. And there's actually a very nice quote that Lisa, that was, the founder and the workshop director as well, used in the very beginning. And I feel like it really summarizes my experience quite well. And my experience in the workshop in general. And the quote was, if they cannot come into our world, then we should go into their world.
Thank you. Yeah, well. Okay, this is about Tove. Just one reflection, maybe, is that yes, there's no filters. It's like for them, there's no filters. We usually have a lot of filters, right? Communicating with people, how should I behave, or what should I say? Often there are no words, but also no filters, so the heart is right out there. And the fact that they are not so molded by the ways of the world. Whatever society we live in, whatever is kosher, not kosher, we are sort of very aware of that. Many of these brothers and sisters are not. So sort of the inner beauty, I felt often their inner divinity really shines out in a much clearer, much deeper way. So that was beautiful to experience. All right, but we are 3 minutes over time, so enough for my reflections. Did you want to add something else?
I just did, yeah, just a very small thing. I just wanted, on behalf of all the staff members at Churches of Heaven, really thank the Swedish community because we actually received quite a big donation, which was actually very much needed and appreciated. So I just wanted to quickly thank this. So thank you.
We also benefited from that because we got some of our travel expenses paid. But they ended up with a little extra money, so they gave out some to cover the travel expenses.
Not just us, to everyone in the workshop.
All right. So now, basically, we're thinking, as part of the report, to have a few minutes just to, if anybody has questions or so. Ida and I will answer. Phil? Wait, Phil? So Phil is asking, are there any future plans? Well, one difference is that they have been doing this every other year. Again, it started with just a few families sort of having a sort of a camp, a vacation together, and then became a little more. This year was a big step forward. Because again, mega structure, support of the younger generation, therapists, and bigger group. And next year, so it will not be in 2 years, next year it will take place again, and there are more also connection between the participants during the year. Can you think of anything else about plans ahead? Tim?
So you said you didn't want to mention what those special needs are, but actually to understand, it would be good to know what kind of special needs or what is considered as special needs. I would find that helpful to know.
Yeah, that's a very good question. That's true. But basically, special needs means that they cannot. I don't know. They can't function in the conventional world. So it was all of them were mental disabilities. And I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, but the brothers and sisters that were here, though, they could. There was nobody in a wheelchair, for example. Special need is true. It's very broad term. I work in that sector. Some of us also do. So it's anything from people that cannot move at all and cannot think at all, to people that are really high functioning, they say in Sweden. Here, the brothers and sisters here, they all could basically participate in activities. Nobody was in a wheelchair. 50% of them had verbal communication. 50% about didn't really have verbal communication. So some communication, but not like speaking. So that was, and different diagnoses, yes. Okay.
How long was the workshop?
5 days, so a bit shorter than a conventional workshop. Then the staff members were there the day before, so it was just under a week for the staff members and 5 days for everybody.
The food was great. We didn't mention about the food. It was very good. We had some also volunteer sisters. There were three sisters that came to volunteer in the kitchen, and yeah, it was very good. There are many more. This again, we had about 8, so that from 8 different families, and the families in our community, unification community in Europe, with children that fall under that description, are over 30. So the hope is also that more families will feel comfortable enough to be part of it, and so. Okay, that's good. Thank you so much, Ida.